Pass rush struggling. This one surprised. I think most Niner fans thought this game was in the bag just looking at the Packers beat up offensive line. They're like, oh, third string left tackle, Nick Bosa, 5 sacks, easy. But that's not how it played out. 1 sack, 2 quarterback hits for the entire team. And that really, really shows the stark difference between this defense and the one in 2019 that just ran through the Packers routinely. Why is this happening? What happened to the pass rush? Happened to Bosa?
It's well, first of all, Rodgers was getting out of the ball out of his hands quick. They were able to run the football, so they had a good plan. This was the most successful they've been, so that's part of it. And two, this defensive line is just good now. It's not amazing. It's not one of one. And the issue with this defensive line being not one of one is that they've invested so much in this defensive line and so little at the cornerback position. If this defensive line isn't just suffocating teams, this defense can be had a little bit. And so I think it's a mixture of a lot of things. I think the pass rush is struggling because I think they have only 2 guys that are consistently winning, and one is Nick Bosa, and then the other guy is Eric Armstead. Samson Ebukam, who they signed to make an impact, has made little to no impact. DJ Jones is still a very solid player, but he's not impacting the game big time as a pass rusher. Javon Kinlaw has been in and out of the lineup. I don't think Javon Kinlaw is fully healthy today. I still don't think so. I think that's why he's questionable.
I think they would tell you that.
Yeah. So I think Javon Kinlaw isn't fully healthy. D Ford, who was the special get for them, Nick Bosa and D Ford. That's what changed this defense in 2019. I mean, look at all he's gone through. Like, the fact that D Ford is playing is great, but obviously he's not impacting the game the way D Ford can. Because when D Ford impacts the game, that's what makes that defense. That's what made that defensive line special in 2019. Because you had 2 guys in Buckner and Bosa who were essentially unblockable. You had Armstead, who's this very, very good all-around player, and then you had this guy in D Ford that's just instant pressure against any tackle in football, and that made life for quarterbacks very difficult because you're stepping up right into D Ford, moves the quarterback off his spot within the
so now you're stepping up into
of a play, and you're stepping up into Bosa and Buckner and Armstead. And it becomes so difficult to even see because Buckner and Armstead are so big. But so I think a lot of things like that is different. I think the depth is definitely lacking. I think people thought the depth was better than 2019, but I think the 2019 depth was better. Guys like Ronald Blair, to me, contributed and played better than, some of the guys that are playing right now. I think Jordan Willis is a piece that looked real good this offseason. Maybe he can come off and have an impact. But outside of Nick Bosa, there's nothing off the edge that this team offers.
There's a lot of factors. You laid them out beautifully. I think the most important factor here is the loss of Buckner. I think what we're seeing here is that if you just had Buckner and Bosa, you could have a really good pass rush. Those two work in tandem. You can put them next to each other, the kind of the way that the Niners did with Alden Smith and Justin Smith. But once he's gone, now all that, because when he played, even though he only had, I think, 7.5 sacks in 2019, people said he had a down year. Armstead had more sacks than him. Bosa had more sacks than him. He got a lot of attention. He consistently got double teams. And now that he's gone, that attention goes to Nick Bosa. And it's going to have a negative impact on his numbers because now he's just letting less one-on-one matchups. It's not his fault. That's the domino effect.
He's still playing it, he's still playing
at a high
level. That's the thing.
He just gets less one-on-ones.
It's just that the team, they're just not as good around him this year. And it's unfortunate because the issue for this team is it's not that this pass rush, I think everything's been an overreaction. It's not that this pass rush isn't good. It's still a good pass rush. The issue is they have invested so little at the cornerback position and they are down so far. They're down bad at the cornerback position. I mean, having to start
we're going to talk about that.
Norman, and Lenore isn't ideal. And because they're down so bad at the corner position, unless this pass rush is truly dominating games, really great quarterbacks like Aaron Rodgers were getting the ball out of their hands and knowing where to go with the football and just dictating matchups against these cornerbacks, especially when you're not fooling him in any type of way. You're just lining up and playing man. You're just lining up and playing zone. Makes it very, very difficult for, the defense to be elite. It can only do so much. And even that, the defense did very well yesterday.